the minute that we get on the live, so my do not disturb comes on at 9, and it like literally we're on, and then it's like do not disturb. It's just kind of ironic. So I'm like, yes, do not disturb. I'm doing a live. But really, it's because this is my normal bedtime, and everything knows to go.
I mean, I totally understand that. I was like also standing. I got here at like 7, and I'm like ready, and I'm like, so weird. Elle hasn't asked me for the link, and I normally wait. She like asked me like 15 minutes before I'm gonna send it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like sitting here, and I'm like, oh my god, it's not at 7. It's at 8. I'm an idiot.
Well, you sent me the link, and I was at dinner, and I was like,
Oh,
"Fuck, is it 8?" Because I was in Utah the last one that we had,
oh yeah.
and so I was like, "Oh my god, I am behind now. Now it is 8," and then I had to like relook at my calendar. I'm like, "No, it's 9 my time now, not 8." Okay, I'm good. I'm chill.
Time zones are a bitch.
Well, and you're everywhere all the time, so I cannot imagine. I go between two, and I'm like, "What day is
Oh
it?
yeah, it is
What is it?"
nasty. I have no idea what day it is for sure.
Oh, wow. We made it. We made it on
Yeah.
time, and 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So
Yeah.
congratulations to us. Also, I was like, you know what? We're doing Libra. I'm going to go home. I'm going to like get dressed, and I'm going to look really nice because it's Libra Venus energy. I just sweat my ass off, 2 hours at the gym. I did a sauna. I went and ate some like big ass Peruvian plate.
Oh
So
yeah.
I did not show up in true Libra fashion. I'm so sorry, but I'm here, and I'm
As
so
long as you're
happy.
authentic, that's all that matters.
I was like, I told Sage, I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm gonna like maybe put my hair down. We get like on the way to the restaurant, and I was like, yeah, none of that I promised earlier is gonna happen.
That's
None of it.
hilarious. Yeah, I'm the same today. This is the most.
Yeah, so we're doing the opposite. Very Uranus vibes. We're rebelling against the Libra beauty and being perfect,
Yeah,
aesthetically perfect. It's not us
that's what we're
today.
doing. We're on brand.
Yeah, we're channeling our Uranus energy.
Mm.
So today, guys,
Yeah.
we're gonna go over all things Libra. So if you are a Libra and you have tons of Libra in your chart, tune in. I'm gonna try to touch base on different planets in Libra. We're also doing the seventh house, so I'm gonna kind of touch on different planets in the seventh house. Kind of go through some of the houses with Libra stuff too, just to put it in perspective. But if you have any questions, feel free to just chime in. I typically am yapping, so Julie will generally catch it and ask the question, but sometimes I catch it, sometimes. So yeah, just let me know if you have any questions or specific Libra placements that you want me to kind of touch on, and I will do that. And yeah, and I did put together some questions. I don't know if you want to ask the questions. I kind of
Yeah.
change them every week because every sign is different,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's some things that like the Virgo Venus, like how sad are you, that doesn't apply to a Libra Venus, because a Libra Venus is beautiful and aesthetically pleasing and loves love and is good at love and understands love and has the right tools for love, because Libra is ruled by Venus. So wouldn't apply this week. How sad is your Libra Venus doesn't apply as well as how sad is your Virgo Venus. So that's just kind of the beauty of astrology. It's very different, and it's very dependent on what your chart reads and what planets are where. And so even though you have one planet, and you have other things that are really working against that, because I'm also going to discuss Libra suns. It's in fall there. It's not a magnifying placement. It's, if you're a Libra sun, it might be very dimmed in your chart, and most likely is, depending on what your other placements are. So I'm going to go into that, and we'll go into all the fun things. But yeah,
Yeah. So I
I
think
don't know why I felt the need to explain that.
you kind of started going into some of the Libra traits. Are there any other well known traits?
Yeah, I think Libras. So first off, Libra is a cardinal sign. They are natural leaders. There's this take charge energy to them. They're also um, diplomatic and tactful, and so the way that they take charge might not look to some like they're taking charge. It might be like a softer version of an Aries or a softer version of a Capricorn. Also very cardinal energy. kind of the same with Cancer. It's also a cardinal sign. They take charge in a very subtle, less direct kind of way. And so that cardinal energy, along with being ruled by Venus, also makes them aesthetically pleasing. They try to be soft, they try to be kind, they try to consider people's feelings, and they're usually pretty graceful, kind spirited, indecisive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have this theory that Libras are very what's the word? Like they are so like you just really never know what they're going to do. And in my theory, because if you do you know any Libras, do you have any aside
Oh
from
yeah.
they're very unpredictable. Like
Yeah.
you think you're like, oh, they're gonna do this. They're very unpredictable, and my theory is because they too themselves don't know what they're gonna do because they're so indecisive and they're
Mm.
so like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, I've actually shifted back over here because this seemed better. Or there's this like flowy. They're also an air sign, so they flow. They think rather than feel, and a lot of times the directions they're going to go in changes, and it can change very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many people that are like, I never know what your next move is, and I'm like, girl, me either. It's such a fun game, right? But I don't think I could live life that way. But there is a flowiness, and there's rhyme and reason. I'm grateful for all of my Earth in my chart because I don't think that I would be as grounded. I'm a very grounded Libra. It's not very typical. My boss is a Libra, and she's a very fiery Libra. So we to the core are very similar, but you can't see that on the outside. It's like internally because of our Libra suns, but she's a lot of fire, I'm a lot of earth. And so it's like even just having so many other elements in your chart can water down your Libra qualities. So
Yeah.
your Libra friends are unpredictable and kind of mysterious, right?
Yeah, they can be, but also they love to talk about themselves, in
Yes,
my
I was gonna say
experience.
there's like the flip side of that. They're also like tell you anything, but they're you never really know what you're gonna get
Yeah.
next or what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
uh,
very Libra.
what makes Libras so cold appearing?
So when you think of all of the astrological signs and what represents them, it's generally, well, it's always something with a heartbeat, whether it's Leo the lion or, some sort of animal, some sort of human animal, Sagittarius. I forget the name of like what the guy is with the horse bottom. I know there's a name for it. I'm sorry. I just don't know. But there's a name for it. But regardless, it has a heartbeat. Libra is ruled by scales, which is a piece of metal. There's no heartbeat, and it's the only sign that has, that representation. And so I think that Libras tend to rationalize things in a way that takes emotion out of it. I think there's also a very optimistic side to Libra to where, like, the grass is green here and it's green here. Like, there's this flow about Libras that have, like, a positive outlook. So even when something can be dramatic or sad, I think that there's kind of this weird strength there that just, like, pushes them through. And it's more based off of like their capability to intellectually like think about things versus like feel them. And
Mm.
so they sometimes can come off as cold, and they can be downright just fucking rude, especially an unevolved Libra. I've known them to be very manipulative, very just cold, not that Libra quality that you read. You're like, oh, they're so nice and they're so kind. They don't possess that kind of energy. I've seen a lot of Simon Cowell is a Libra, and he's evolved over
Wow.
the years. Like you watch him, I swear. Sage didn't believe
Yeah,
me. He's like, no way. I'm like, Google his birthday. He is a
that's
Libra, but it's
crazy.
like very unevolved hurt. And this is with any sign,
Yeah.
but they tend to be so direct. And I think that, and I don't know his birth chart and I do not know his upbringing, but I would guarantee there's somewhere in there a piece of him that at some point in his childhood he was too kind or too passive or people walked all over him to where he was like, this is what I'm gonna do. And until he evolved, because I watch him now and he's actually very kind and he's different.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, he was just trying to prove a point at one point, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, you have to evolve out of that.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we just covered what are some characteristics of evolved and evolved. How
Oh,
perfect is a Libra Venus?
I mean, if you're going to have a Venus or any sign that is ruled by the planet that it's in is always a win-win. So Venus rules Libra and Taurus. And so Taurus Venuses, they tend to be a little more controlling, a little more possessive because of their nature, their earthy nature. But Libra is such a lover, like a flower, wants everyone to be happy, the life of the party. I mean, it is the perfect place to have a Libra Venus. You might fall in love a lot and too fast, but you bounce back real quick. Like it's fine. We're on to the next one. And that is just that kind of energy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that in your 20s, possibly 30s, it probably serves well. I think as you get older, you learn to nurture this like more settled because you've gone through the things. But I also think they really enjoy their single time. They live that and they probably do a lot of flirting, a lot of dating. And then once they do settle, I mean, they're very loyal and they want that. They love the idea of a marriage, a relationship, partnership, and not necessarily marriage, but something that's true and that they can value. And they also want it to look aesthetically pleasing because they are Libras. They are vain. They want to look perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in us. It's a natural thing for us. I can say it. I'm vain.
I was like, I got a Libra moon. I know I'm vain. um, what is a good sign for Libra in any planet?
So Libra Venus, that's always going to be because it's ruled by Libra. A Libra Jupiter could make you very lucky either in your appearance, which could get you into places. I think that um, I want to say, to give an example, it can be good. A Jupiter Libra could be really good. But I think of like a Jupiter Saturn. I think of someone who's like Lady Gaga, for instance. She, talks about her story and how when she first started out, her look wasn't what they wanted, what Hollywood wanted. And they're like, get a nose job, do this, do that. And that is not so fortunate in the sense of like a Libra Saturn, but it also, the way you overcome, she had to overcome things about her appearance that a lot of people don't have to go through. Like, and then you look at the opposite side of that, like Megan Fox, who is very, um, what's the term that they use? Like she just doesn't feel like she's good enough. She doesn't feel beautiful. And it's like, Saturn and Libra could go, those both remind me of like a Saturn Libra, but going in two totally different directions. One fighting against it. She probably has a really lucky Jupiter, maybe even a Libra Jupiter that kind of transitions that harsh Saturn into like a strength and makes her prosperous. Whereas not everybody gets that. But I would say, to answer your question, Jupiter, Libra could be really beneficial. It could benefit your looks. It could also benefit, like, you have really good luck in relationships. Like, have you ever met someone that's like, they're just in good relationships?
Yeah,
Like, they just are. And you're like, wow, like, you figured
it's
that out.
rare.
I have a friend that she just comes to mind, and she's actually an Aquarius, and her boyfriend, fiance, is a Libra. And they've been together forever, and they're just healthy, and they're young. I'm like, who taught you how to be this healthy? She has really great parents, but
Oh,
so yeah, there's that. But I don't know her chart, but it's that kind of energy. It's like people that just like young, they find this love, and it's good, and they work it out, and I'm just like, that's Jupiter Libra energy all day long. So
I love that. That's cool. Let's see. What does it mean for a Libra sun to be in fall?
so so when you have certain signs and certain planets, and I know I've touched on this more this kind of go around when we've been doing the teachings than the previous ones, but they just don't shine as bright. A lot of times, I don't think that I've seen a Libra sun outshine any other planet in someone's natal chart. I don't think that it's like, oh, your Libra sun is the strongest planet position in your chart. It just doesn't happen because it's in fall and it's not as beneficial there. Um, you would think Libras, being the vain beings that we are, we would like the spotlight and we would like to shine, but there's a shyness there that we don't necessarily love the spotlight. Like, we want to be beautiful and we want to be viewed as this perfect human, but we also want to kind of do that out of the spotlight and in our own little shadow corners and privacy of our own home or whatever. But it's not a sign that likes to be magnified. Leo suns obviously are great. That's everything that they love. I mean, Scorpio suns, even Scorpios, for as dark and heavy as they are, they do like a spotlight. Like, they like a show. They can be entertaining. I'm very excited to do Scorpio next month.
No.
But it's always a good one. Things will burn, but no. So it can be. It's a harder placement for your sun, and it's probably not the strongest sign in your chart, just due to the fact that you're a Libra sun sign.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Libra Mars, active or not?
When you think of like a Libra, it's almost like wants people to do things for them, right? Like, I can do that, but it would be better if someone else could do it for me, especially things they don't want to do. Now, I'm not calling Libras lazy by any means, because we are hard-ass workers. But if it's something we don't want to do, typically we pay someone to do it, or we source it to our children. If you have 100 of them, like I do myself, you find a way around the things you don't want to do. And so I think that a Libra Mars can be active if it's something that interests them and if it's something they want, and they will probably go balls to the wall with it. But if it's the everyday, something they don't want to do, they will find someone else to do it. So I would say active if interested, lazy if not, about whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I was like, definitely like, oh yeah, princess treatment, sort of.
Oh, for sure. I mean, a Libra Mars is like, like manual labor things. But I mean, I say that there's so many things that can be in your chart that would totally offset that. So I don't want to say that too bad, but it is princess treatment. I mean, for sure.
Libra Jupiter, lucky. What house would it make them super lucky in?
So yes, this is kind of, I did touch on this already, and I knew that it was in there, and so that's why I went on a tangent about the Jupiter Libra. But yes, a Libra Jupiter, like I was saying when I brought up the whole Lady Gaga scenario, was they can be very lucky, and it could be whether, depending on their chart, would really shine, whether it would be something that had to do with appearance, or like even the whole Simon thing that I brought up. Like, you might have to go through something to really expand your directness, assertiveness, because that does not come naturally. And so there could be, depending on where Saturn is, some sort of position that puts you into either overcoming an appearance, overcoming maybe things that you need to be more direct in, or overcoming relationships. You keep getting into really good relationships. Maybe it has nothing to do with Saturn, and your Jupiter Libra just puts you in the right place with the right people. And I mean, definitely Saturn is trining that, if that's the case, because relationships are a big part of our lives. So if you manage to find really good ones, good for you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you, and I also want to butcher you. I want to know why. I enjoy my kids. I've learned a lot. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Why wouldn't you want Saturn in Libra?
Because the things that you would have to go through would be learning to, again, the themes for Libra are going to be relationships, because they are your relationship beings, and appearance is a big deal. So Saturn is the teacher. It's the planet that's going to push you past your boundaries and where your growth really is. So Lady Gaga was like the perfect example of having an appearance that Hollywood didn't see fit, and her having an amazing voice, and she pushed through that. I mean, she could have quit. Imagine if Lady Gaga would have just quit. That would have been a sad day, right?
Yeah.
So she didn't. She pushed, she prevailed, and she's an Aries sun, so it's not a Libra. I'm just saying, if this just is that kind of energy of whether somebody that had to overcome something so hurtful and dramatic. I mean, and it's been known, people knew, like, and it was broadcasted. It's almost like everyone knew she wasn't like the look that Hollywood wanted, but her voice is what like pushed her in her individuality. And so that was, to me, that was heavy Saturn energy to go through that and experience that. So anything hard that you go through is Saturn. And when you think of Libra in the terms of relationships, appearance, um, not having a voice, people pleasing, I mean, those are the areas that Saturn's going to hit on with in Libra.
Yeah. Is Libra an intuitive sign, and could Neptune help this?
I think that there is a very intuitive piece to a Libra. I don't think that, like I've talked about before, intuition in different ways of how it's delivered. Some people get a feeling, and some people have like that gut intuition, and that is necessary. But some people just have a knowing, and they just have an intuition of like knowing, and it doesn't necessarily resonate in their gut or something they feel. It's just something that they know. And I think that Libras possess that heavily because they are always thinking. There's so much going on, and the brain for a Libra, I truly believe, doesn't stop because it's cardinal, it's starting. It's also air element, so it has that, whole flowy thing going, and the ideas and the thoughts. And I just think that they can be very intuitive in a knowing type of way, not a feeling kind of way.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do people with Libra Uranus rebel in relationships?
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on their chart. It's not, every person, but it being the sign of rebellion and acting against what feels natural and what, uh, you know, and I wouldn't say maybe rebelling in relationship. I could definitely see this person entertaining, um, like poly relationships or just a different, non-traditional relationships would be the best way to say that. This is
Okay.
that kind of energy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What generational themes would be Libra Pluto era? This would be a time of extreme self-expression.
It would definitely be, um, I mean, I could see the 70s energy for sure because it's like experimenting, exploring, flower children, peace. I mean, that whole era was like the most Libra thing ever because, Libra's like peace. And I maybe not so much of I mean, I don't know. I'm a Libra and I'm pretty hippie. But, I mean, definitely the 70s. The peace, love, stopping the war. I mean, Libras want peace. They don't want to fight. I say it as though I'm not a Libra. Most of them, like, I don't identify as a Libra. Um, they hate conflict. I personally don't. I don't mind saying I don't like this or I do like this, or I don't have an issue coming to someone with something that upsets me because I just think that communication is important. But yeah, I would say the 70s.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then my Pluto or my Libra or Pluto's at Libra. Wow. And then I'm like thinking it was my parents as like flower child people, like when they were like, yeah, maybe that's their age. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's kind
And
of
you
funny.
were a gypsy child. You were all over, and so
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, that was your life. You were you were the child of the hippies, and so that experience, like a lot of you experienced similar things of like that lifestyle, and parents just kind of being hippies. I think it would be cool, but I also don't know. I haven't lived it, so I'm sure as a kid it was probably really different.
Yeah, there's good days and bad days.
Yeah. Why do we live in a van? This van at the school. I don't know. Maybe not. Your poor Libra moon was like conflicted always.
Yeah,
Every second
always.
conflicted.
Um, all right, give us some insights of Libra Sun in the first house.
So the first house is appearance. And, again, I've the Libra with the vein and just wanting to be presented and uh, previewed as perfect. I mean, this can be a really good placement, or it could be really like people that are really obsessed with how they look to like extremes. And again, this just depends on so many things in your chart. But I think this person is probably obviously beautiful. Your sun and your ascendant are very close to one another, which is generally an indication of someone of beauty and true alignment. I mean, when someone's ascendant and their sun are in the same sign, it's kind of, I always find that they're so authentically themselves. Like, that's not like, oh, I thought you were going to be different when I met you, or I thought that you were this or that. It's typically like, oh, you were exactly who you were the minute I met you, and I completely see, they align perfectly. So I would say beautiful, probably athletic, takes care of themselves, picky about partnerships, probably doesn't settle. This is a placement for someone who doesn't settle because it's in the first house. It's not in the seventh house of relationships. It's in the house of self. So they're pretty self absorbed with themselves. And it doesn't have to, I say that it doesn't have to be in a negative, like, conceited way. It can be in a really healthy, like, I'm not settling or going to allow anyone in my life because I deserve this. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Knowing their value is probably a big indicator of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. What would be a good sign for Libra to have in the second house?
Did I word that weird? What would be a good sign? I think I meant planet.
Yeah.
I kind of did that one on a whim. I think it
No
was more
worries.
what planet would Libra. But so, a Libra Venus in the second house would be a really good one because first off, the second house is Taurus energy. It's ruled by Venus. Libra's ruled by Venus. It would be probably a very flowy, um, income that really benefits like the person's style, the look, their lifestyle. It could really benefit that. So that one would be a really good one. I would say a Libra Venus in the seventh house, prosperous relationships. Libra Venus even in like the fourth house or the 10th house, just because the fourth house is family, like starting off with like love and that appreciation, and maybe you grew up in like a beautiful home with a very well put together mother and a happy father. It kind of brings like that happy family vibe and that aesthetic. Again, this can all depend on where Saturn is in your chart and other things, but just giving a good placement for it. A Libra, I personally, my Libra is in Sun is in the 10th house, and I value that so heavily because my career and what I do for work has always brought me joy, truly has, and I am grateful. I mean, I think I've had one job that I've really hated my entire life, and I think that is money because
Yeah.
I don't think most people experience that. My
No.
bosses have all been amazing. I'm still so close to them. I build really close relationships. Like, to me, Libra, Sun in the 10th house. And I've also had very aesthetically pleasing careers. I mean, my offices have always been really nice, and the buildings that I work in are really nice. Like, right now, I just designed my whole office, and it's like an Art Deco, just
Fun.
green and purple, weird, and it's my own. And it's like I've always had that, though. I've always had a really nice office to go to with a really nice professional. This is a little more lax. I can kind of be myself a little more. But I do value having a Libra sun in the 10th house. My Mercury is not far behind it, and so my sun and my Mercury are both in the 10th house, and I'm grateful for that. I think
Hell
that
yeah.
that's and even if I had a Libra Venus in the 10th house, I mean, that could indicate like finding love at work or something
Mm.
like that, but it also could be that you really love your work. It could be
Mhm.
that what you're doing really aligns. So I think the sun and the Venus in the 10th house are two really strong indicators of how well you do your job, how much you love your job, how your passion drives you. So
Mm.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, me too.
Where
Um,
where is your Libra moon? It's in the sixth
a
house.
second house.
Second.
That was going to be my next question.
I was like, wait, where's your moon at?
Yeah, Libra
So,
moon, second house.
I mean, it gives you, and you being a Capricorn sun will contribute to this, but it gives you a really grounded, more grounded emotional approach to things than most Libra moons.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it's not that you're not wishy-washy. You're still probably indecisive about things. Yeah, but it's different. And I mean, you have a Capricorn sun and a Leo rising, which help make choices because they're both really heavy leaders. A Leo can be a leader, and so are Capricorns. And so your moon isn't like if it were a Cancer moon, it would probably, shine a little brighter than like a Libra moon. But the fact that it's a Libra moon, if there's not a real, and I'd have to look at the degree and your other things in your chart exactly. I'm not looking at that, but it gives you a better balance, especially with like finances. Your Capricorn also really helps with that, so it really aligns in that second house. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's not a bad one. There's no bad one. There's only just
Yeah.
things to learn. But it's a good placement.
Yeah. Interesting. Does does Libra in the third house mean that they are people pleasing or with siblings?
Yeah. So last week we did. Does Virgo in the third house mean that they were a bossy sibling? Because
Mm-hmm.
Virgos can be bossy, and Libra's like the total opposite. A Libra is a people pleaser, and they can be an unevolved. And that normally I wouldn't put that under unevolved, but to the point to where you're like sacrificing your soul, it's unevolved. So Libras as sibling or a Libra sun, say in the third house, would be a very people pleasing. I mean, and depending on what's in your chart, it could go the opposite way. You could be a real like asshole, like I'm the prettiest, like Kim Kardashian vibes. I'm just you're garbage because you don't work as hard as me. I guarantee you, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna see where her
I
sun.
have her chart.
Oh, let's look. Where is her sun? It's probably the 10th house because she's so driven by her career, but there's something going on with the third house. I guarantee it.
Let's see.
We
Third
said,
house, she's got her moon in her third house, Pisces moon.
oh, yeah. And then her sun is in the 10th house.
11th,
Oh, okay.
but like right on the cusp.
Yeah. She and I have very similar charts.
That's so interesting.
I mean, I wasn't like that with my siblings, but I don't know what I would have been like had I been rich. I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, I'd love the opportunity to find out.
Yeah, let's give it a go. No, but it's just that kind of, it could be bratty sibling energy, but also I think it, depending on the chart, could be more people pleasing, like always, maybe kind of crybaby-ish.
Okay.
That's in there too. Libras tend to be a little crybaby, like they can be.
Okay.
I've seen it.
What would you say about a Libra in the fourth house?
So, and again, it depends on what planet, but a Libra sun in the fourth house, probably very wifey energy. This is giving like your sun is in Libra, the sign of partnerships, in the house of family. Your roots were probably, deep rooted, maybe lived in the same small town you grew up in, and you married the person that you met in high school, which to me honestly sounds horrible, but I know that there are people out there that love that and they thrive for it. And then people are like, oh, that's such a cute story. And I'm like, but did they learn anything? Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it doesn't come at you in other ways, but I'm just like, that doesn't sound fun to me.
No. That's like such a weird beginning of like all Hallmark movies.
We fell in love in high school and we never left each other. Like, how did you grow and learn? Like, how do you even know who you are? Like, you even gone through things without the person there. I don't know. I know it works for people. I see people that have been married forever, and I'm just like I know you had to have gone through a lot of shit to stay together that long, right? It wasn't perfect always. Maybe they have Jupiter and Libra, and it was.
All right. You went?
I said I'm just over here being a hater. Don't mind me.
Tell us about a moon sign in the 7th house.
So the seventh house is partnerships, relationships, documents that require signatures. I know that seems like weird and random, but it's also, so there's four major houses. The first, which is yourself, the fourth, which is family, the seventh, which is relationships, and the 10th, which is career. And if you really look at your life, those four houses are the biggest houses that contribute to your life. And so the seventh house being marriage, relationships, and not just relationships, partnerships, friendship. Friendship's more 11th house energy, but it's still there. It's a line. It's a ship. So anytime I see a moon there, this person typically is a very emotionally wired for relationships, for connection, for having that, other person be something that's present in their life always. I always, my husband is a Libra moon too, and his falls in the 6th house. It's so close to the 7th. He is an Aries rising. He definitely should have made it to the 7th house, but his moon got pushed in the 6th, and I'm like, oh, it could have been so beneficial for you in the 7th, but that wasn't for you to learn, I guess. Next life. I think everything shifts the next life, but so yeah, I mean, the 7th house is a very prosperous place for your moon. There's a comfort in relationships. There's a comfort in connection. And I do believe that if you have the certain planets that are placed, that this could be a very easy emotional life for you, emotional ride that kind of aligns with different partnerships, relationships, connections. And it's a good placement to have.
Yeah. Libra sun in the 7th house. What would you recommend for this person's sign and their ascendant if their ascendant is most likely in Aries, the polarity?
So if your Libra sun is in the 7th house, most likely your ascendant is in Aries. It's the opposite. And so typically when you look at your chart, the person that is that you look for, that there's a compatibility, something drawn to, is the opposite of your ascendant. So it would be technically Libra. But if you're a Libra sun and you're attracted to a Libra, because that's the opposite of the Aries, it could be very challenging in the sense of having someone like you, but also you being an Aries ascendant, which is very different. There could be an internal battle for this person having an Aries rising and a Libra sun. And then if you were to go off of like astrology terms on what you would look for, a lot of times it would recommend like a Gemini or an Aquarius, which I wouldn't disagree with, but you would be looking for, because it's your descendant, someone Libra like. And so for this combo, I would definitely suggest like a Cancer, more of a Cancer energy, a softer, because that's what you, first off, it's squares. And I heard the best analogy that I've ever heard in my life about a square. And don't let me forget to bring that up because I want to finish wrapping up what I am about this 7th house sun and relationships. I would say if your sun is in the 7th house, I would more recommend someone that you square, whether it be a Capricorn or a Cancer, because then you have like Aries rising, Libra, sun. Those are two cardinals opposites, and then you can connect and really find some growth in potential relationships with a Cancer and a Capricorn because they are also cardinal signs and they square your sun sign. And that is kind of needed when you have that internal Aries rising with the Libra sun, if that makes sense. That might have been maybe too in depth or a little more advanced with astrology. And I'm sorry if some of you are like, what the fuck is she talking about? But if you know what I'm talking about, then great. If you don't, I can break it down more simple. But I would recommend squaring your sun because I think that there's a lot of growth in that, especially with the conflict of having an Aries rising and a Libra sun. And that goes for anything. If you're watching this and you're a Gemini, the same thing would apply if you were a Gemini sun in the 7th house and a Sagittarius rising, I would recommend a Pisces or a Virgo, because there's that internal conflict where your sun and your ascendant are completely across the board, and you need to kind of break that up a little bit with some squares.
Mm.
That was a really long-winded answer, and then it brought me to the so I heard
Yeah.
this analogy, and it was like, in astrology, we always want to trine our partner, which is a natural instinct, and it flows. It's good. We never want to square our partner because we're like, oh, it's too different. It's not going to work. But the analogy was, you're a heroin addict, and the trine is the needle, and the square is rehab. And
Oh,
it was like, wow, that was such a good analogy. It couldn't have been more like, yeah, no heroin addict wants to go to rehab, but it is like, that is the necessary piece that kind of gets you to where you need to go sometimes. And I think
that's so
that
interesting.
it was a really good analogy. And so I do kind of look at, so like my kids, I have some squares with my children. I've got a Capricorn child, with Sage. He's got a Sagittarius and a Pisces, and he's a Gemini. So there's like the opposition and a square, and then their moons and how they all align. There's so many squares, but I'm like, ooh, you're going to learn the most from this kid. This kid's the one that's going to be the teacher. My daughter and I, we square moons to the degree, and let me tell you, we have been in an emotional battle. And so it's like, but we are so good now. We're so good. We're on the other side, and we're like, oh, we made it. Like, we did it. No one died. And so I think that I've discredited squares a lot in my life because I'm like, I've never really entertained them or the thought of them. I think that it was missed. I think that I could have used more of those learning lessons in my life. So,
Yeah, careful what you wish for.
oh no, I mean, I'm done with that now. I'm not
Okay.
chilling. I'm just
So,
saying, like, no, and I don't mean like in romantic partnerships. I'm
yeah.
meaning in like friends and lessons and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
I gravitate towards Virgo women as friends, Gemini friends. I mean, you and I are friends. You're a cardinal, and we've been vibing just fine. But it's those relationships that you get in that end up being a little sticky, that you can't just be like, okay, well, peace. I'll see you later. Like work relationships or things like that. So I've really avoided a lot of squaring relationships because of they were squares. But
Yeah, that makes
there's
sense.
value in that, and that analogy really was like, huh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, there's like some sort of saying something about like the medicine is in like the part that where we don't want to do the work, essentially.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy like Sunday morning. I like easy like Sunday morning, but that's my Libra shining through, I want like a happy, chill, easy life. I do.
Yeah, I feel you. Let's see. Is a Libra sun in the 8th house a dark girl energy?
Anytime anything is in the 8th house, it is dark girl energy. But this one typically is a little lighter. It's not as dark. Can be. I mean, I have a girlfriend, so I have two friends. One is a Libra sun with a Scorpio Mercury, and one is a Scorpio with a Libra Mercury. Because Mercury never travels too far from the sun.
Yeah.
And the Scorpio with the Libra, she talks very soft, and she's very kind, and she's very diplomatic. And I'm like, wow, like you. And looking at her chart, it made sense. My girlfriend that is a Libra with a Scorpio Mercury, way more direct, way more in your face. Like, what the fuck did you just do? That kind of energy, way more aggressive. And so, and then looking at things like in the 8th house plays a really big part. It's also, heavier. They're both in the 8th house. And I didn't know that both of their suns and Mercuries are there. So I'm like, okay. And so it's just, one of them is light, the other one is very dark. The Scorpio obviously is the darker one, but because Mercury, I think of Mercury in the 8th house, style and the way they think, darker. Mercury or a Libra sun with a Scorpio Mercury is kind of the opposite. And so it's just a lot of things depend on your chart. But yes, I would say Libra, eighth house. Anything in the eighth house is dark, but Libra would probably be a little lighter than most signs.
Okay. And then Libra in the ninth house.
I just think of like a traveling gypsy.
Mm-hmm.
Happy, exploring, no care in the world, maybe beach bum. I don't know. Not a lot of responsibility going on there. Just fun, free, living life, 100%.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
Libra and their professional endeavors in the 10th house.
So I did touch on this earlier and how much I loved my Libra sun in the 10th house. It gives a lot of times when you see Libra suns in the 10th house, they tend to do jobs. Like I was saying, I have always had beautiful offices. I've had the luxury of that, wonderful bosses. A lot of times these people could be in the art industry. I mean, even like attorneys, lawyers, because you think of like there's this diplomatic, very fairness to Libras. So a lot of times, that can play into part. I think that people that have really good childhood experiences tend to go into the more legal aspect of things, less artsy. Not always, but a lot of times if their sun is in the 10th house, and then the artist, the starving artist, that whole thing can contribute to a Libra sun in the 10th house.
Okay.
I have too much earth in my chart for that, so I need some grounding. I need stability. I got too many kids. Can't do that.
No. Libra in the 11th house. Like how many friends do you have? This was many is the word I'm missing.
Yeah. So I mean, Libras are friendly. They're overly friendly at times, and they love a lot of friends, and they love surrounding themselves with people. And it doesn't even matter if they're not even that close or they're just acquaintances. Everyone is a friend. They want to be friends with everyone. They love everyone. Mm-hmm. And so anytime I see Libras, anything in the 11th house, I'm like, God, I know you have a lot of friends. Your networking is incredible because you probably know 1,000 people, and they do. And that's, I mean, it's a great place to have. 11th house is ruled by that Aquarius energy, or it's air, it flows, it's fun. And so yeah, I mean, if you have a Libra sun in the 11th house, you probably have a lot of friends.
And then it goes to complete opposite. Libra in the 12th house, secrets and deception.
Yeah, I mean, the 12th house is secrets and isolation, and Libras can be heavy in the sense of like really getting in their head and mentally like, turning things around, and uninvolved in this placement could really shine. It could shine on that. It could be like, oh, and I had a boss call me out once for being manipulative, and I didn't even know that I didn't even realize that's how I had manipulated myself, not even knowing that I was manipulating. And she was just like so point blank, like, why don't you just ask me what you want? And I was like, I am, but I'm doing it in a fun way. I'm doing it in a light way. I'm doing it in a silly way. And she's like, just fucking ask me. I'm like, yeah. She was a Taurus. Love her. Yeah. Still friends to this day. But nice. I mean, I learned something that day. I was like, is that what manipulation is? I had no idea. And so, and I don't have Libra in the 12th house, but I think that there's this silly kind of aloofness to Libras. And when it's in the 12th house, I think it kind of shines a little bit more on the manipulation, unevolved, unhealed. Mm-hmm. It can shine on that a little more. They could be a little more mysterious and manipulative and darker in a different kind of way, in a mental manipulation kind of way. So that's interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I always find that, and they tend to be way more secretive. I have Libra girlfriends that don't have social media, that do not share anything, and it's always the Libra suns in the 12th house.
Wow.
Sometimes 8th, but 12th.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Question from the audience. What if you don't have anything in your 7th house?
I don't think I have anything in my 7th house. I mean, an empty house is not a bad thing. It may not be a highlight of your life. Like relationships may not be as important to you, or depending what. Do you know what rules your for your seventh house?
I can tell you in just 1 second.
Like, what is your rising?
Capricorn rising.
So Cancer
Hold on.
rules the seventh house.
Seventh house. Yeah, Cancer rules the seventh house.
So I would definitely say empty house, Cancer, connecting. What is her moon in?
Moon is in Aquarius.
Okay. So honestly, I would say this person relationships probably aren't the top most important thing to them. I would say an Aquarius moon has this independence, and I connect to the moon because so Cancer rules her seventh house, but the moon rules Cancer. So I want to know where to go to follow. If like if her moon were in like Libra, I would say something. It would be different, obviously. But Aquarius is very independent emotionally. They can be a little stubborn. They're a fixed sign. And so I think that those challenges sometimes come up to where relationships aren't worth it because this person's probably pretty set in their ways. Having that Aquarius moon, Capricorn sun, or Capricorn rising. What was the sun?
Sun in Taurus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that Taurus sun, Aquarius moon. Yeah. There's also probably a piece of this puzzle because Cancer is a nurturer, is a mother, that there is like that desire for it, but it needs to be the relationship has to be right. It's almost like that person would need to provide for them, kind of take care of them and give them that Cancer motherly, wifey energy of someone that's going to really take care and provide and support. And maybe it's not even just like providing like in a financial way. I don't mean that just financially, but maybe because a Taurus is also a very traditional, sign. So your sun being in Taurus, moon in Aquarius, those are two very stubborn placements. You're very stuck in your ways. And then you have your Capricorn rising, which can kind of give you even more of an edge and a direct, like who you are is very like, um, there's not a lot of fluff there. You're very direct in who you are. And then having Cancer rule your seventh house can be the want for like this motherly, wifey, but also you're not settling for anything. So, in a nutshell, connecting all of those without
I
the
like
Venus
that.
and seeing the full chart. But, and I
Yeah.
don't know her, but I would guess that she's probably very picky and rightfully so.
Yeah. Yeah. She said that was so good. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, that was
My
awesome.
daughter's a Taurus she's a Taurus sun with a Aquarius moon, and I pray for her husband when she decides to settle down. She's a relationship girly girl, but I think she's going to come out of that once she gets into college, and it's going to be like, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. And I
I
love
can
that.
relate to that.
That's a mother's dream. No one's good
Yeah,
enough for her.
exactly. What I don't remember if we talked about Mars in the seventh house.
So if you have a Mars, your Mars is in the seventh house, you probably take a lot of, I mean, I could see this person being like the person who initiates relationships or initiates partnerships, or just like has no problem making the first move, moving things forward, getting things going. Mars is action and quickness, and it being, if your Mars is in Libra, I know I mentioned like a sleepy Libra earlier, and that's like not as action oriented, but in the seventh house, it may be, again, it has to be something they want to do. Relationships are generally what Libras want to do because we are a partner relationship sign and we love love. So it would probably have a lot of energy and push forth relationships really well. And not just romantically, but like relationships in business, partnerships, those sort of things.
Interesting. Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Well, I don't think there's any more questions. I mean, you pretty much like covered it all. So, yeah.
I think I made it through, and I made it on time with 6 minutes to spare. So I appreciate everyone showing up and listening to me yap for an hour. I hope that you learned something. If I went over something too fast, and sometimes I get to explaining things, and I'm in my mind, I'm trying to make it more simple, but I'm so in my mind, Libra, thinking about how to make it simple that I've really complicated it. So, sometimes that is just the beauty of my mind. I'm not apologizing for it anymore. I'm sorry. If you can follow me, cool. If you can't, catch me next time. Sometimes I'm really on it. Sometimes it's also really late and I'm really tired and I'm just like,
No, ain't that the truth? Ain't
Yeah.
that the truth? Well, thank you so much for sharing today and all of your knowledge and answering questions. And we will see you for the next one.
Scorpio. We all
Scorpio,
know
yeah.
I love, love, love. It's not that I don't love Libras. We're great. But Scorpios, that's where the magic's at. Because
I'm curious because I got a lot to say.
yeah, you send me the questions for Scorpio.
Well, mine are
They
all
really
like
set houses on fire. Yes.
pretty pinpointed for the people I know. So
I love it. Yeah. Send any questions that you have on Scorpio if you're watching this, or you have Scorpio friends, family, spouses, partners. Send it in and I'll touch on it. I'll go over their chart specifically. I use a lot of mine and Julie's, and we use like people that we know. And so, adding some fresh perspectives in there, we're down for that. So send us your
yes,
stuff.
love that. Yeah, you can do that at academyoflogicandlight@gmail.com. Awesome. Well, I will see you for the next one.
All right. See you later. Bye,
Bye.
guys.